welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special episode of the Film Game.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Game podcast. This is a special episode called Interregnum Part 2, where we dive deeper into an idea that we will make into a reality. We have our friend Jack back. I'm not sure where he went, but we don't want to dig too deep into it. Welcome back, Jack.
Hello. I had to go on a journey, a self-development journey, find myself. It was really inspiring. I learned a lot.
And with us, as always, is Mr. Andrei Barbat. How are you, Mr. Andrei?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's dive deep into this idea. I went to sleep and I came up with some more thoughts, and here it is to flesh it out even more until we can actually make it. So, the film is called Interregnum. The idea is a period between two regimes. So with that, we, in the future, there is a point of no return, where this conversation has to happen to save the world, or there will be mass nuclear war destruction. Okay? Hear me out. So, in beautiful Christopher Nolan Tenet way, we have a spy or a CIA, whatever you call it, the equivalent in the future, who has to go back in time to ensure certain events happen for the butterfly effect, which will make sure that the conversation between the two warring leaders happens. And so in my head, the butterfly effect means things you wouldn't even think of. So a guy in a garage, he has to reach his PR, his 1 rep max, or maybe as many push-ups as possible, or the world ends. So this agent has to go back in time, and we got to figure out the whole timeline thing, the science, or the somewhat logical. So this time agent goes into this garage, and he tells the guy, you have to do these push-ups or the world will end. But he can't interfere, like, let's say he doesn't have physical properties or something. So he's like motivating to make sure it happens so that in a separate timeline, the war never happens or something. So that's one event. He also goes to, so the lady who lost her glasses, he has to go there and make sure she finds them so she does an exam, because that exam will lead on to her getting a job where she'll meet someone who is motivated by her to do something which makes 50 years into the future, this conversation happens somehow, right? So we want to have like 5 stories in these rooms. So make it 15 minutes each. So that gets us up to 75 minutes. Throw in 5 more minutes to explain all the science, the backstory of the guy going back in time. And then, so yeah, that'll get us up to our 90 minutes, whatever. And then maybe like 5 minutes of just random stuff of him going to some guy walking across the street. And he's like, yeah, this is something. So yeah, we have the lift, we have the girl trying to find her glasses, we have the guy in the gym who has to do a 1 rep max because that will make him confident and ultimately result in his great grandson having the strength to do something anyway. And one of the ideas is a filmmaker, a film student. Film student is another one of these guys the time traveler has to talk to. And he has to make the film the next day but he doesn't want to make the film. Acting with difficult people, my own issues, and we do this weird, him like trying to convince him, he gets convinced but then he doesn't. So like all the other stories, they all hit their arcs, they complete the journey, except for this one guy who has ruined the whole world because he didn't make the film. So you have like this epic moment where he's like really down, he's like, I'm not gonna do it, and he's gonna send the cancellation email, you know, like in slow motion. You get like the Zack Snyder thing where he's like, no, and it's like you play the epic music while you're interconnecting with the conversation, all these other random stories.
Sorry to interrupt, but that Zack Snyder thing is called slow motion.
Yeah, but the way he does it, the emotion, and so he clicks the email, he kills the world. That's what the time traveler thinks. He's created nuclear Armageddon because he didn't carry out. He was a pixel in a picture that didn't shine. That wasn't
fire.
So
I love how you find your own things so deep.
So then like we cut to like some stock footage of like a nuclear explosion or something, and then we cut back to our guy who's like depressed in his room, and then like he sits, we do like a time lapse, he's in there for like a week or whatever. And then we do some more, we get some classic Elliot Hole stuff, fail or recommit, make it really nice, epic. He gets up, he gets his camera, walks out the door. The timeline changes. The time traveler doesn't understand, how is this happening? And because it's the power of God, but we don't need to tell everyone. But basically the whole point is, in real life, it's like, you know, you make a mistake, you aim for a deadline, but then you just get back up, you know, fail, recommit. And so so he stops the nuclear war. There you go, people. What do you think of that? Would you watch it?
Nice. Yeah.
How do we make it as entertaining as possible? What types of stories do you like? But yeah, what are your thoughts, Jack? Go ahead, be honest.
I think when you say entertaining, I think you have to be careful who your target audience is, because obviously if you want it to be, so the way I see films, right, and like say books, is kind of like food in the sense of like you have fast food and you have decent food, right? That's maybe potentially not like vegetables that are really good for you, right? And yet not many people like having the amount of protein you need, right? So people would love to have fast food all the time. They love Mackie D's, they love Domino's, they love junk food, right? So I see the same thing in like when you say entertainment, right? I think if you're trying to entertain the masses, they'll want crap. They'll want a love interest, which is always nice. They'll want action. They'll want kind of very crap jokes, probably like willy and fart jokes. Yeah, I mean, so when you say entertainment, I think it should be like thought-provoking. I mean, it can be entertaining, but like not too much. You know? Like, it can be nice. It's almost like you want like a full Sunday dinner, right? Because it's like nice, but it's also full of lots of stuff, lots of nutrients. I mean, and it's a whole meal. I mean, so obviously it tastes nice, but it's also really good for you. So very much like a movie. Obviously you want it funny, but also quite deep and thought-provoking. So I think it has
a way. I was saying in a meaningful way. Funny, but not Zoolander style.
Yeah, like exactly that. Zoolander, Jesus. It's just pointless, man. It's just pure junk. It's just there for... There's something thought-provoking about it. Whereas like Interstellar, for example, was quite entertaining, but also showed up to the fifth dimension, you know? and
Yeah.
use a lot of sort of scientific concepts which hadn't really actually been dramatized or even kind of brought to the media very much at all. So not only was it kind of interesting, but it had like a love interest, a bit of drama, a bit of like kind of chase your dreams sort of thoughts, but also absolutely increased mad theories that actually are like, yeah, just really interesting. And
It was also a funny film. I mean, I honestly liked the jokes.
well, there you go.
Yeah,
So I think
we're
that's like a good balance.
we're trying to find a bit of both. Meaning, heart, weirdness, Zoolandery, and trying to put it all together.
Okay. So,
But yeah, when I
think
said
that's-
entertaining, I kind of meant exciting, like as in you're hooked in, type of thing.
okay.
As in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, maybe
Well, there you go.
suspenseful.
Batman
But yeah,
vs. Superman was not- I don't know, in my opinion, Batman vs Superman was not good.
yeah, I wouldn't. Have you seen Split or Quiet Place?
Yes, Split, interesting. Kind of.
So like the
interesting.
way they reveal something. Well, Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan, he reveals like different layers each time, so you're hooked into. There's 5 people in his head, and it's just.
Wasn't there like 28?
Yeah, whatever. And but yeah, in general, what were you thinking outside of that?
What was I thinking about? What? Sorry.
Did you have any other thoughts on the Interregnum story?
No, I think using the concept of like, was it 2 factions? Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, I think that's like a quite cliche and not very original, but I think it's a tale. Kind of the whole point of why like Shakespeare did those sort of plays was because they are tales that go through time, you know, so they never really get old because it's like a very common issue, you know, of 2 factions. Who are they? The Montagues and the Capulets.
Yeah.
It could be said for like, again, it doesn't have to be them. It could be any other form, but it's how a dispute between 2 factions. It's like a never-ending tale sort of thing. So I think it can still be used as a concept. It wouldn't be original, but it would be a very stable, reliable template.
Yeah.
To then build on a more complex idea, such as different perspectives, like for example, 4 people in different rooms, or I mean, and then kind of like developing it further. Yeah, and I would just say trying to find something that makes your movie stand out, like what would make it your particular piece be original. So
Yeah.
otherwise, I don't think it's worth making just for a project. But if you've learned the skills on filmmaking, then I think it needs your own personal style to it. Like, what's your like? You mean like? I always go back to this, like, but what's his name? Something Waititi?
Yeah.
Taika
Yeah, he has
Waititi.
Yeah, or Christopher Nolan, or who's the guy who creates Stephen King. Like, they all have their own styles, you know, and that's what makes them. Terry Pratchett. Now I'm naming kind of authors now, but they all have a particular style, you know, that everyone can go. That definitely seems like a Christopher Nolan film, for example. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think if you
Let's,
your own style or like your own message or your own plot twist or something, you know.
Okay. Well, I do think we have a style here that people aren't doing, which is finding the epic in the mundane. So your classic non-grinder chronicles. So whether it's working out, eating well, you know, doing your work, chasing your dreams, or well, that's pretty. But like
before we
mundane-
continue,
yeah.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a bit because I just want to answer a question which you asked me before
I'll ask you it.
recording.
I'll ask
okay,
you it.
sorry. Sorry. I thought you forgot it. That's why I said. Then
Okay.
please continue.
Okay. But yeah, I think we have a style here. Like, I don't think people have put forth nuclear destruction next to someone trying to do some push-ups, but he doesn't want to.
Oh shit, that was it. That's how you developed it, wasn't it? It was the butterfly effect, and
Yeah,
yeah, man.
I
mean,
think
to be
that's.
fair,
It might not be. I think there's a film. What was it called? Yeah, this is actually a good reference. And then I'll ask Andrei a question. Wait, who's the guy who plays the Falcon, Andrei?
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, he was in a film that had like time travel stuff, but it was quite serious.
Altered Carbon. No, that was it with Paul Rudd.
The Adjustment Bureau. Have you heard of that? That had a
I think I
similar
do.
thing.
Yeah.
I think they were being. Yeah, so the plot is the affair between a politician and a contemporary dancer is affected by mysterious forces keeping the lovers apart. So these time guys go back in time and they have to make sure these two never meet because something will happen.
Lord.
Have you been
obviously-
watching Loki at all?
The what?
You've been watching Loki.
No, Andrei has.
It's
Yeah.
basically the
Obviously,
same
we want
concept.
to be wealthy.
Yeah. Obviously, so our tone
Yeah.
is just a bit weirder with the whole.
Akira.
You have to be the pixel in the picture, and also breaking that idea where it's like there is always room to try again.
What if there's not room to try again? What if that's the plot twist where actually you've messed up, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't get second chances, sometimes it's not a happy ending. Should've
Yeah, I
been
mean,
better.
it's a true moral. Like, it definitely happens, but it's like,
Have you ever watched Heavy Rain? Or
What's
played
that?
Heavy Rain?
no.
It's like a very realistic, depressing game. And it's like a playthrough game. And it's really good. It's like basically you start off as like this guy in a house and it's like marriage is going to crap and it kind of like it's just it's like multiple choice game, but it's so dark, man. You have to make choices where like potentially you can lose fingers, and it's just a very depressing game, but it's like interesting, and it's like actually sometimes realistically in life there isn't happy endings. Like realistically you're not going to be
Yeah, but I
you're
mean,
not gonna have it all, and that's okay because actually that's life, and actually it's about sometimes just enjoying the simple things. And I don't know, I personally like, it's almost like why Game of Thrones was quite cool, where like people died a lot, you know, like actually
yeah,
not a happy ending. I mean, that's usually quite sad, or I don't know. But-
yes, interesting.
But it's nice that you have all this like chase your dreams sort of thing. I just thought it would be funnier if like you think chase your dreams, chase your dreams, chase your dreams, and you still fail.
Yeah.
That's okay, bro.
It definitely happens. I think you can even talk about it, and the whole build up to him cancelling his whole film is maybe that whole idea in him as well.
I guess it depends on what.
So you have the sad ending, everything ends, but then it's like, nah, man, it's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andrei, the question before was, how do we develop this idea further? So we have this basic storyline, interconnecting stories, etc. What do you recommend?
I'd say let's think about the characters, what the characters are, what are the main objectives, what are the arcs, but not very specific, just generally the big ideas in each of these cases. And then start writing the plot with the characters in mind. And after that, detail it more until you have a very accurate way of doing the action of the plan of actions, and then start writing the script.
But yeah, quickly before that, generally, is this the idea? Do you have anything to say about that? Shall we just dive into the characters?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch something, right, which admittedly isn't often, but when I do watch something, I don't really care too much about the storyline. More often than not, the storyline is quite generic.
Yeah.
But it's usually the character development and the character itself that you kind of go to watch, whatever it is, a series or why do you watch Loki? Or Thor even, or I don't know, Game of Thrones or Peaky Blinders, you know what I mean? Like, did I go because I wanted to know about, I don't know, the Peaky Blinders hoarding guns or transferring gin or trading with the Jews? No. Did I want to watch Tommy Shelby, like how his character develops and grows and how he like kicks ass and stuff? Yeah, you know what I mean? So a lot of time I don't think it's the story that really matters much anyway. Obviously it can be fun if you want to put in like a message, a twist or a moral or something interesting, like thought-provoking or political. But I'd say more 9 times out of 10 it's probably more down to like the character that you develop that is probably going to get people wanting to watch your show. Oh, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I agree. As long as but I do like, tension, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? But I definitely like a good character arc.
Yeah, it inspires you. It makes you identify with the mission, definitely.
Should we just throw out the characters so far?
Yeah.
So we've
got Henry Cavill.
So we have the time traveler agent trying to make sure this meeting happens between the two factions. So the two factions, because I'm thinking, write what you know. That's what people say. So I like the Ben Shapiro, your left wing versus your right wing current day type of thing. Problem is, I'm going to be biased in certain ideas.
A lot.
Yeah. And then
but I'd say he needs to be a villain then, because he's not likable, you mean?
Yeah.
No,
You're not
but
gonna watch. What's his name? Something Shapiro?
No, it's just that type of character. So a person who believes in the right wing, person believes in the left, a conservative, a liberal. Your classic.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, but if it's really political, right, and they're quite extreme in their opinions, they won't be very likable or relatable.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Both the extremes are unlikable. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The people.
Yeah.
So putting
the
them,
left wing is less likable.
So I think the idea of putting them two in a room and then just debating different topics, giving their opinion, and trying to just not compromise, but just share their opinions. And in doing...
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so the arc of that story is they get in, they're quite confrontational. And then they start laying down their opinions, counter arguments, and then it's like, yeah, what about this? Oh yeah. So then they start getting, and then then they get married and have babies.
So again, I think
I'm not sure what that in. I think some kind of agree to disagree type of thing. So they may not agree with each other's philosophies, but they're not going to have a war.
Right. But I would
like
just say, if you were going to do that, which is perfectly fine, to introduce that sort of debate element of different political standings, but I'd say you probably need a third character then too. So imagine where like there's like a dinner party, right? And it's like I think there was a horror film where like they would all go to a dinner because they all are promised the chance to win like millions of pounds, but it actually turns out the dinner party was like, the whole idea was that you had all these different characters, right? But then you had one likable character, or at least 2 or 3. I mean, but the whole point is that if you have 2 people who are very politically divided, just in general, them debating it,
Yeah.
they're both not going to be very likable. So it's almost you need like if I'm watching something, I do not want to hear 2 monks who have massive biases. I just think you're an idiot, and I don't want to hear about. I don't want to watch you. If you have a third character that's actually likable, who's actually like agreeable, who is like a little bit more like unbiased and is a lot more fairer in their opinions and just generally quite interesting and is shown to actually be intellectual, then I think then they'd want to watch it, and then they go, okay, so how is this actual nice person going to interact with these 2 monks who are clearly so politically biased that they're just clearly idiots, you know? Like,
Yes.
That's basically what, in my opinion, you get when you get people who are massively politically biased. There's just clearly a logic in their thought process, or they're not that, to be honest, like relatable or likable. Because, they're not really seen as very educated then. So I think maybe if you had like a person that's likable or nice or just interesting to interact with them, then that might be a way of being able to bear to watch through the political debate, and hopefully they also either, I don't know, ideally not make up, but like one of them, they get basically what comes around goes around. You mean they get their comeuppance, you know? But obviously, if you want to take it where like they get married, have babies, then sure, you know.
Metaphorically speaking. But Andre, what did you think about? I've got a counter to that. But before that, did you have an idea of the conversation in general?
Yeah, I think we should make Ben Shapiro the villain, because generally speaking, the audiences who go to the cinema are left-wing, and they would prefer if the right-wing would be a villain. Don't you agree, Jack? Let's vote. We are 3, so we could make a majority. Who wants Ben Shapiro to be the villain?
I agree.
No.
Yeah, me too.
But
So,
wait,
sorry, Saad.
This is the whole point. This is Interregnum.
Right, but why? What? Do you
Space.
think he's a good guy then?
I like a lot of his opinions, and I like that the conservative voices out there in the media that is very left wing. You need to have your
Yeah. I agree with that. Like, but you can agree with his opinions. Still think he's a bit of a.
very what's the word? Contentious.
You know, I don't want to
Disagreeable.
turn this into a political debate, but
Go ahead.
Hollywood has been left-wing for the past, let's say, 10 years, whereas ever since the 70s, it's been ruled by right-wing for a couple of decades. Clint Eastwood, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all of the films made back then, if you watch and truly analyze, you'll see how much they cater to the right-wing people. So to say that right now Hollywood is dominated by left-wing, yeah, it's true because audiences are left-wing, but it's only such a short amount of time in the whole history of Hollywood, which was right-wing. So
Yes.
yeah, do what you
Yeah.
want to make
It
with
is
this
a tricky
information.
thing how to get a
Like-
political conversation into a piece of film. Anyway,
Simple. Make
back-
Ben Shapiro the villain.
okay, we're not doing that, but there are no villains.
Hold up. I thought
Anyway.
we had this is a voting system. This is not
This is a special episode where
Who are
I'm
you?
actually gonna make it. So,
Are
but
you actually
anyway,
gonna make this film?
yeah.
China. This is
What?
a friggin' who do you think you are? China.
Yeah, but you need to, because we're actually gonna make it. So I appreciate your opinions. But
What's it
anyway, Interregnum.
Dictatorship. You're a dictator.
Okay. But here's the idea to your count to the having the two people, unlikable people talking.
Yeah.
Is you have the time traveler in this restaurant. So it's not their warring factions, but again, it's
Okay, so they're not the protagonists then, basically. So
we don't. There is no protagonist because there's 5 stories. Well,
yeah, the time traveler will be the protagonist.
yeah, I guess this is so we're not doing a horizontal. We're not doing a vertical story. We're going horizontal. Anyway, so we can have him in the room, like trying to get them to agree or something. Because if they don't, in 50 years, the war will happen. Potentially that. What do you think of that, Andre?
Well, even if you go the horizontal way, there still got to be a protagonist, because the film should have a theme, a message, and these things need to be emulated within one people or group of people, but they need to be, the protagonist. I'd say the time traveler could be the protagonist because it makes the most sense. He or she would interact with everyone else. But the question is now, what would be the message, the theme of the film?
Yeah, to me it's you have to. You are a picture in a pixel. You are a pixel in a picture. If you don't do your bit, no, you are a pixel. If you don't do your bit, you mess up the whole picture, right? And your bit can be very small, seemingly to the outside world, whether it's doing push-ups or doing an exam or cleaning the toilets. Now, on top of that, you have the final message, which is there is always a hope. There is always chance to do it again.
But there isn't. There isn't always chance, and there isn't always hope.
Well, that's the thing, Jack.
This
Is
is how the
that
Jews are, right? When they're in the concentration camps, mate. There's always hope, and there's always
Okay.
try again to get shot.
well, that's a different story, Jack. We're not telling people to calm down and just.
You're teaching people false hopes and lies. That's what you're
To be
doing.
honest, I agree with Jack, but for another reason. Literally every other film has the theme of hoping for the best, everything's gonna be all right, whether we're talking about romantic comedies or science fiction or historical films or whatever. It's always this message in one form or another. Whereas the first thing you said, that one bit, one small thing can make a big change into the future, that's a bit more specific and it's a bit more unique. So I'd
That
rather
is-
stick with the first one.
But that is the theme. But then I like the idea of everything goes to well, so all the other characters, they reach their arcs, and then this one guy just messes it all up. And obviously in your world, it's like, yeah, that's life. But that is
Yeah.
the thing.
Like,
That no,
Japan
take it
never
in.
stopped. Japan never stopped suicide bombing Pearl Harbor. So what do they get? They got nuked. You mean? Well,
Twice.
what'd you expect, Japan? You mean? Don't go suicide bombing.
So let's
Hold
take
on.
it. Let's take
This
it.
is going on YouTube, so let's.
Oh yeah, cut that one out.
Oh,
That's
It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Things happen, yeah. Like things do, like bad things happen. Like
I agree. I've seen a lot of bad stuff recently. Anyway, the point is, that's one idea. Wait, 1 sec.
things have consequences.
Yes,
Oh,
I agree.
Oh, lucky mate, you messed up. Nah, bro. Like we can't go to Afghan or something and go, oh, one of your muckers got shot. Oh, we can try again another day.
Yeah,
Go
I
to
agree.
Afghanistan and say, live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
No,
Laugh, guys. Come on.
so we're taking it at the individual level now. So we had the picture pixel, that is the big theme. But on the individual level, you're gonna miss the ball. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Of course you
but
believe
in
that.
relation to the theme.
If you miss a gym session, you're gonna get on the next one. You're not gonna say it's the end of the world because I missed that gym session. But that it is the end of the world. But the cool thing is, we're saying it's the end of the world, but you can change the end of the world even if it's already ended.
No, you can't.
Oh, God.
So,
It's
so
an
in my
idea.
opinion,
Point is,
So
it's
my-
a general.
so I'm gonna put forward my idea, and obviously you can completely neglect it, right, and go to Akira and manga, right? But have you ever heard a song called Greg Plitt?
Yeah.
Right, so his concept was work your absolute ass off, right, and never say that today is enough, because tomorrow you'll never have enough. And it's the idea that you don't know if what you've done is enough, right? You don't know if the amount of work you've put in, right, is enough to make this film, right, until test day, until test week, right, when the day comes. So you've basically got to make sure that you work your absolute heart, like ass off, because you don't know if enough is enough. I mean, you could say, we've got an exam to do, just revise a bit, that should be enough. And chances are it's not going to be enough. I mean, if you're always satisfied with how much you're doing, right, and saying, that'll be okay. I mean, it's not a guarantee that you're going to win, but it's saying the only way to guarantee or have any hope of winning is to absolutely give it your all. And I think that is a better message of, I mean, and there's a video from Greg Plitt that explains a lot better than I did. But it's the idea of give it your all, because you don't know if it's going to be enough until the nth hour, until the final degree. So
Yes.
give it your absolute all.
I like this.
Then you can't
So,
ask for more.
Instead of the ending being, so after he cancels the film, the world ends in the future. So his world is still going on, but he's depressed in his room. But instead of it just being a quick thing of him getting the camera, it's him writing, researching, putting another team to it, like a montage of him working harder than he did in the previous, what we saw in the first 15 minutes, if that makes sense. So it's him
Yeah.
putting in more work as opposed to a quick thing, restarting. No, we're restarting, but we're really restarting. You know, as a Ben Shapiro and AOC debate will go, there's two opinions here of finding the theme. So I'm guessing I'm trying to find two themes here in a way, and you like to have one clear theme.
Yeah, it's if you're having two themes, you'll never be able to transmit a message. You need to be specific.
Yes, interesting.
Every film has a debate, but sooner or later it's going to go with one of them and present one of them as the winner.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, so in the debate, there's your thesis, antithesis, synthesis, right?
Yeah.
So the thesis is you have to do this or the world will end. The pixel, you have to be the best pixel to make, otherwise you mess up the whole picture.
Yeah.
The antithesis is, no man, just do what you want, bro. Just, yeah, so kind of just it doesn't matter. Do what you want. What other people do, how it affects other people, does not matter. That could be the antithesis. The synthesis is the conclusion, which is the
left wing.
You keep trying to be that pixel in the picture, but you might not. But you keep trying to be that picture in the pixel. I think that's kind of the synthesis there.
Or from, like, let's try to make it an evolution. So you're basically, small things lead to great things, and then there's antithesis which says no, it doesn't, and then the synthesis should reformulate the thesis so that the antithesis can also agree with it. So the way I see it, it would be small things lead to great results. Then the antithesis is no, it doesn't. That's the filmmaker who who actually sends that email and who endangers the world. But then the synthesis is about the process. So small things don't lead to great results, but small results don't lead to great things, but small progresses, small processes. So this way he tries again, and even though the world was supposed to end because that film was made, he saves the world by making another film in a way. Yeah. So he realizes the difference between results and processes, and that's something to discuss. But again, let's not complicate things. When we're gonna be at the 20th feature film, then we can add multiple meanings and Christopher Nolan and stuff like that. But until then, let's keep things simple.
So just a few more characters, let's try and flesh them out. So I think the film student is pretty... So we've got the debaters. Should we just move on from that? We did talk about it at the moment. Two people debating, the story of the debaters, two people debating. So you're beginning, they're quite, what's the word?
Jumpy.
Yeah, contentious. Is that the word, Jack? Contentious.
Okay.
The argumentative, so they're having an argument. They're quite heated. Then it kind of cools down. Then they start thinking about ideas. Then, and then you fall down. So a big argument, and then you have your time traveler there trying to make this thing happen. And then obviously, as your classic story arc, within the 15 minutes it comes back up. A couple more debates, and then ultimately some kind of agree to disagree type of thing. We'll think about that more. So that's one story. The other story is the film student, who is basically my story. So So if it's in 15 minutes, we're in a room. I was thinking the night.
Is it still in a room after all this
Yeah, it's all
time
still-
traveling?
Yeah, so the time traveler is just literally going into their rooms, and they're like, "Who the hell are you?" Because he's like a ghost type of thing, so they kind of believe him.
Oh, I see.
That is a question. Like, if a time traveler ghost walked into your room, what would you do? What would you do, Jack? Would you believe him?
Believe who, sorry?
If a time traveler ghost walked into your room and said, you have to do 50 push-ups or the world will end, would you believe that time traveling ghost? How would you deal with that? So,
I would say, usually, I would ask him for proof. Right? So I'm a
no, but
man-
he's in your... Oh, right.
Well, let me finish. So I'm a man of evidence or things being evidence-based, right? However, the fact that he's a ghost in my room,
Yeah.
I think that'd probably be just enough evidence to bang out 50 press-ups just quickly for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably like...
Yeah, just for the fact that he was willing to visit me as a ghost, but like, on it, man. Just 'cause it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we can have that whole thing. Oh my god, it's a ghost. And he's like, I'm not a ghost, I'm a time traveler. But say it.
He's not a ghost, he's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Oh, then no, I wouldn't have, like, bro. You're just a
No,
random
but
traveler.
he's like, he can't interact with the physical world or something.
Okay, then I'd say I might skip
So
that.
he's phasing through things.
Yeah. I guess maybe you'd go out the room, ask if anyone else can see him.
Like a vision.
Yeah. But anyway, so the story of the film student, he's working on a film. He's having these debates with his teammates. He doesn't want to make the film. The ghost the time traveler tries to persuade him. A lot of debates, the nature of art, a lot of stuff that was in my head. So yeah, I think, like, is art gonna save the world? Or I had an idea that he needs to make the film because this important person will watch the film and be like, this is terrible, and go outside. And then he like meets someone, and then is the butterfly effect. So,
Nice.
well, yeah, what do you think? Yeah, so that's one idea. That's one of the stories, and then obviously doesn't make the film, and then he has to try and reset the universe, or whatever, from a room, and it's all in a room. But yeah, you have
Cool.
your arcs, you have your kind of manic kind of, yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Right.
So the other story we had was the person looking for their glasses, and then I had on top of it so that they can do their exam on time. One theme in that I was thinking was the idea of insecurity. Now, so like, I don't know but I want that in one of them. So they're very insecure.
Wasn't the main theme about small things leading to big changes? Now
Yeah,
all
but
of a sudden you change.
That's the major thing. And then you have individual things in the stories as well. Because the butterfly effect is that this lady, says she's very insecure because she wears glasses or something. And then it's her getting over that, or getting over some kind of insecurity, and she's more confident. And in the butterfly effect, that results in something along the timeline.
Now, there's been a game released, which is very much your approach. It's some sort of Minecraft and city builder and Final Fantasy and Football Manager all into one game.
Yes.
It's Craftopia, in case you want to check it out, Jack. Anyway, Saad, it's if you put a different theme into each of these mini stories, you're gonna have a film of films.
No, see.
Yeah, in my opinion, what you're doing is what Zack Snyder did and the Space Odyssey and putting 3 films into one. Because I feel like it's going to be hard to have enough character development to actually make it.
Well, yeah, because we're trying to make a
an hour and a half or 2 hours if you try to fit in like 4 different films in one. So,
well, yeah, but the reason
unless they all mix up with each other at some point.
But the reason we chose that was to keep the budget low and tight. But yeah, I guess we can think about it more. Do you want to log back out and back in?
No, I've got to go pick up my girlfriend from phone.
So, where are we at? So the idea of themes within themes. Should we do that? I believe you can have the major theme is the pixel in a picture, which is not necessarily the same as something else, which is not really it's a vague theme. So the question is, how do you affect the pixel in the picture? How do you become the right pixel? So that part can be different, I believe. But you still have the time traveler there telling the person you have to do this thing to do the butterfly effect. And within that, it can be insecurity or laziness, overcoming that, or fear, overcoming fear. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the answer should be an empathetic approach, like something visual. So instead of, in this case, since it's a film that's supposed to be made by through a low budget or almost a non-existent budget, it could be verbal, the inspiration, but ideally it would be visual. So the filmmaker would be shown in some way, he would be proven in a visual way that he should make that film, that he needs to do it.
Yeah.
So he would be empathetic. He, I don't know, it could be, yeah, it depends.
Yeah. But let's stick to the characters then. So, this person trying to find glasses. So how would that story unfold? So we have the conversation pretty much, the 3 arcs. We have the film student, his arcs. This girl. Yeah, let's think of that story. Okay, what's the third? Do we have any other stories? We've got the person in the lift. So let's flesh one more story out.
Yeah. How about the optician with the memory?
Okay. Yeah, I've forgotten the whole Where's the
But it-
Zoolanderness?
Yeah. But if we're gonna make it like that, I don't know. I mean, we have to stick to a certain approach. If we're gonna make it restarted, it should be like that from the beginning till the end.
That's the question.
Because you talked about left wing versus right wing and different emotional approaches, and all of this will have to go away if we go the Zoolander approach.
Does it
I mean,
though?
there will be a personal story because Zoolander also had, but it would be just 1% of what we discussed up until this point.
But can we have our cake and eat it, Andre? Like in films we made before, the weirdness, the over-the-top melodrama, it brings out a sincerity. There is a sincerity in the absurdity. And what is the line between doing something deep and something dumb? The goal, I believe, the style that we are creating is we are doing both at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've seen something so absurd that it gets into an emotional place.
That's
I'm not
like,
saying there isn't,
yeah.
just that I didn't see.
Oh yeah, so we have the dude in the garage. He has to do push-ups or he has to keep exercising for certain things. Maybe he's halfway through the workout. He needs to complete the workout, what he's done. So he starts the workout, and then midway through, the time traveler gets there, and before that we have some kind of character stuff.
Yeah.
He's training for the Olympics. He's training for something stupider. Or he's just, he's lazy. And then our time traveler comes in and says you have to keep working out, and at the end of it you have to reach the most number of pull-ups you've ever done in one go, or the world will end. And then so it's the emotional battle within that. We do a lot of different camera angles within the room, the debate between that, and then ultimately he gets motivated and demotivated. And that is the classic R type of story, where it's just him working out, and he's kind of, he's like a chubby guy.
Yeah.
But to him, it is the end of the world if he doesn't do it. And in the actual story, it is the end of the world if he doesn't do it. I like that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The stakes on top of stakes. It's the theme of the story being represented in his head, that it's the end of the world or something like that. But we can make that funny. We can throw in jokes.
I suppose it's all about the style. Like, if we embrace this style, then the dialogue and most of the plots would have to be reflecting that. So it's doable, but if we're gonna go the restarted way, we need to go 100%. Just like these directors. I'm sure Taika Waititi could make a historical film. He's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, but he sticks to his own style. The same as with Christopher Nolan. He's not gonna make a romantic comedy. Not because he can't, but it's just not his style.
Yeah. But yeah, I was also thinking just in general, So we have the multiple stories. How do we put them together even more tightly?
Yeah.
So the time traveler is going to be there. He is our protagonist then. So yeah, we'll need to dive more into him. And yeah, we can do a couple of scenes where it's the dishes, where literally just short scenes. Where it's like, hey, you need to clean your dishes to save the world. And then, or even other stuff. Something more funny. And then we got the Henry Cavill thing.
Oh yeah. So that means that world has an actual Superman, because he's supposed to be Superman.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe the audience thinks that he's a time traveler, but he's just Henry Cavill or Michael Sarah, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So at the end of that whole thing, and she kind of breaks out of the lift.
Yeah.
Or how is she going to break out of the lift? Yeah, let's think about that. Okay. How is the other person in the lift? Or what scenario do we want that Henry Cavill character in? And then that would be it for today.
What if the lift isn't blocked at all? All she needs to do is push the button to open the doors, but she gets the impression that it is blocked, and
Yes.
Henry Cavill doesn't tell her that she's stuck. I mean, he doesn't tell her that she needs to open the doors, and she thinks she's stuck. They have that conversation where he says, I'm not gonna save you because you need to grow yourself. And then she says, to grow myself, because she's a bit short. And then she sees the button. She sees the button which opens the doors quite high on that panel board. And she manages to lift herself up to climb on something, or I don't know. And she pushes that button. And this way she grows herself, both literally, but also in an internal way, in an emotional way. And the doors open, and she goes out. She gets out of the elevator. She looks back, and she says, "Thanks, I really needed that." But then she doesn't see Superman anymore. She doesn't see anyone. All she sees is a little sticker with that S from Superman.
And then our time traveler arrives. We gotta do something like, what does the time traveler do?
The time traveler.
Yeah, make it funny. What would he do? Is he just late? Like he was meant to. He was meant to get her out of the lift or something.
Yeah, he's supposed to say, like, he goes to her and says, if you need to get out of this lift in order to save the. And then he sees her out of the lift and he says, oh, never mind.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
See, this is the philosophy I have. Maybe I'm wrong. But the idea of like you have that, yeah, and also the kind of deep stuff as well. Can you have both? We'll find out when people watch the film.
Yeah.
You need an audience to tell you, nah, man.
Definitely. Yeah, we could make a compromise. Like, this whole elevator scene is both also like meaningful. Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Yeah. Wait, what was the how did she click the button? What was the button, did you say? It was at the top.
Yeah, and she was a bit short.
Yeah.
And that's how she well, I don't know, that's a detail. Like she maybe she climbs on that panel board, or I don't know. She does a sort of trick.
Yeah.
Maybe she hangs on some bar, I don't know. It depends on the elevator itself.
Yeah, I do
But
like that.
somehow she reaches that button. Yeah, she reaches the button, and that's it.
Yes, it's good. And that is, we can make the deepness the kind of insecurity thing. So she's insecure, she's short or something maybe.
Yeah,
She doesn't know the power within her or something. She doesn't know
yeah.
she can grow more than she thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Can that
Yeah.
stretch? Is that going to be one of the short ideas? Can that stretch into 15 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. You can even stretch it in 1 hour or an entire film if you want. As long as you keep adding different obstacles and you give her things to do.
Yes. Yeah, maybe she has like an umbrella or a briefcase. Or,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, a person she's trying to open up the doors. Open
Yeah,
up everything. Yes. And then there's back and forth
As-
between her and
As long as you have creativity, you can pretty much come up with anything.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
So we have some fleshed out ideas now. Next one. So we've done the dude in the garage, the film student, the debate, the lift, and then one more. We can do that next time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with this in mind, we thank you people for listening to our podcast. If you have any recommendations, be sure to write them in the comments below. And until next time.
Peace out.
Ain't that right, Saad? Yeah.
This is the film game. We ain't here to take
Yeah.
part. We're here to take over. In a bit.
Yeah. In a bit. Take care.